We will start with selecting object and take a look at the transforming. With the pick tool selected, I can single click on an element on the page and I can move that. I'm gonna zoom into this to make it easier to see. Press Shift and F2, this will zoom to whatever selected. When I click an object, you can see selection handles around the sides. If I do a second click, you will now see a rotation and skewing. So I can rotate this element. I can skew the element. This little object is indicate the pivot point. I can left click and drag this pivot point to any part of the object, or even right out of the object itself. And now if I move one of the rotation handles, it will actually pivot around that point. I will press F4 to zoom back to my page. Now, for other ways to selection. Let we first zoom into this area. I am using the ruler pole on the mouse. If I left click and drag, this will create a marquee that allows me to select whatever within this marquee. So if I let my mouse button at this point, you can see what elements I actually selected. One thing to note is that if I do not complete the incomposite element, it will not select it. For example, if I left click and drag right here, I will select nothing. There are a couple different shortcut keys to change the way the pick tool selected. For example, if I hold the Alt key down, anything that my marquee touches will be selected. So as you can see with the Alt key down, I can select this element with objects grouped together. We know we have a group, because the status bar shows that this is a group of 41 objects. If I want to select an element within the group, I can hold down the Control key and click that element and I get the sizing handle. This shows me that this object is selected, and you will notice that the sizing handle are round dots. This is a visual indication that I am actually selecting an object within a group of objects. Now I also have a freehand pick tool, and the freehand pick tool allows me to create irregular shaped marquee rather than a standard rectangular or square marquee. I can do a freehand pick and select that way. Now we will take a look at transform. Left click and drag horizontally is gonna change the width, vertically will change the height. If I hold the Control key down, it will change both height and width, and maintain the same aspect ratio. One final keyboard shortcut with the pick tool is to double-click the pick tool, and what that will do is select everything on the page. Now we will talk about the shape tool. The vector object is an object made of lines and segments that start with points. These points are called nodes. There are three types of nodes. First is the cast node. I will select this line with the shape tool. Now when I select the node, I have the ability to control the handles. With the cast node, I can create sharp turns in a line. The smooth node allows me to create smooth transitions. By moving my node handles up or down, they move independently with each other. The symmetrical node allows me to move the handles in symmetry with each other, creating smooth flows in a path. To add a node, it's a simple matter of a double click with the shape tool on the line to add nodes. To remove nodes, I select the line and simply double click a node, and this will remove it. Now there is another way to add nodes is by selecting two nodes and press the plus key on the keyboard. This will divide the space between the two nodes equally and create a middle node between them. I can change the type of my node from the property bar. So when I select a node, I can change it from cast node to smooth node, or to symmetrical node, or get it back to cast node, or I can make it a straight line. And I can align my nodes from this icon. I can align them vertically or horizontally. I can select the first node and align it with the second node. Now when I choose Align Vertically, this node is moved to here, or when I select this one first and choose to align them vertically, the upper one moves to the second place. I can also scale my nodes. Rotate. Skew them. I can break curve apart by selecting a node and click on Break Curve Apart. I can close it again by snaping it to the other node. Now it is a single line again. Now I have another option, which is that I want to close the curve so I can fill it with color. If I choose a color before I close it, nothing happens, because it's not a shape. But when I close my curve, it fills with any color I want. Now break this again. Close it again, the fill back. We're going to switch to the next tool, which is the Smooth tool. Before I do that, I want to select this rectangle. Now with Shape tool, select all nodes. We have to notice that this curve has 256 nodes. When you have an object with a large number of nodes, it can cause problems with printing or cutting. It can cause potential problems. So I need to reduce the number of nodes. It's easy enough to do with the Smooth tool. I want to do a single path around the parameters of this object. It's as simple as that. Now select Shape tool again. Select the rectangle. Status bar now tells me that we reduced the number of nodes to 13 nodes. Now we're going to take a look at the smear and twirl. So tap space bar to select the rectangle. Select Smear tool. The Smear tool allows me to smear an element inwards, outwards, just by clicking and dragging. This will change the shape of it. The twirl works very similar. It allows me to create a twirl by click and hold. I have the ability to change the direction of the spin and the size. Now by selecting Attract and Repel, this allows me to change how the object looks. Now the Smudge tool, I can smudge it out or inwards. Of course, this settings up here that I can adjust. These settings are pressure sensitive if I use a Wacom tablet. And the final one is Roughen. I'm going to move around the parameter of this element and you can see what Roughen Brush does. I can change the pattern of that and the frequency and a number of other things.